Good morning. Welcome back to Global Time Traveler. I'm Tom. Today we're going to take a look at some affordable chronographs, as well as a few watches that I've just purchased, and we'll have a few other things to chat about along the way. Appreciate you being here with me today. If you are new, welcome. If you're returning, I really appreciate that. I'll try to keep this a little bit shorter than the first two. This is my third. First two were a little bit long, a little bit windy. I think I like to hear the sound of my own voice. Just ask my students. But I'll try to do better and keep it a little bit shorter. So today we've got 4 watches that we're going to talk about. 2 of them are MecaQuartz movements and 2 are mechanical. I've also got a big brand that we'll throw in at the very end to talk about some of the differences, some of the advantages versus the disadvantage between a big box brand and one of the microbrands. But before we start that, let's take a look at what's on the wrist. For today, I've got my Chronographs. It's a porcelain dial with a spring drive movement in it, integrated bracelet. The only things that are a little bit detracting for me is it's slightly small, but it's not bad for more of a dress piece. The crown is a little bit small, especially with those crown guards on there. Makes it a little bit difficult to wind. And like I said, as it's a hand wound, it does take a little bit more effort than I would have hoped for. But it's not a detraction or a fault or a failure in any way. The other part is, as it's an integrated bracelet, there's no strap that I can fit to it. Credo doesn't make one that fits it. The connection to the lugs is proprietary, so your normal replacement straps just don't fit. I like bracelets, prefer a nice leather strap. That's just my opinion. Somebody else feels differently, good on you. You be you, as I like to say. Before we start, standard disclaimer. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm just an enthusiast. So if there's anything that I say that is wrong, inaccurate, incorrect, whatever, this guy's fault, nobody else. I have also used in some of the graphics, the logos and information directly from the watch companies. All of that information is proprietary to them and probably copyrighted. None of these watches were provided to me. All of them I have purchased myself. This isn't monetized in any way. No one has given me anything. So these are just my observations and opinions. And like I said in my very first video, because I bought all of these watches, I really like them. So you're not going to hear a lot of harsh things about them simply because if I didn't like them, I wouldn't have bought them. So let's look at a couple that I've just acquired. I've got several that have come in recently. First on the list is my out of Singapore. Very nice watch. Look at that dial. Beautiful sunburst kind of fan finished to it. Zelos comes in these neat little travel containers. They got 3 spots in them for watches. So it makes it real easy to travel if that's what you want to do. Additionally, I've recently to Erebus. Thank you, Jody. Appreciate that. Erebus comes in these nice little zipped cases. And this one here is a mother of pearl. And if you look at that, you can see the colors. All very nice change given the different light. Real pleased with these 2 watches from Erebus. I've also got recently 2 watches from Wise out of Thailand. This one has a gold plating on it. It is exhibition case back with an automatic movement from Miyota, and it is just lovely. Absolutely love that one. So like I said, we've got 4 chronographs that we're going to look at today. It's a Ferlin Mari, okay, a Monchard. Actually, I've got 2 Monchards, but we're going to talk about one of those. There is a Hanhart and a Seagull, the recent limited edition Seagull with the moon phase. So we'll take a look at all of those. We'll take a quick look at the end on one of my Longines chronographs and make a couple of comparisons. Like we said, what's good, what's bad, what's better, what's worse. And again, those are all just my opinions. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, even if they're wrong. All right, so let's get to it. Thanks. Okay, so here are the watches we're going to take a look at. Before we start, let's talk a little bit about what is a MecaQuartz. I didn't know anything about it until recently. A MecaQuartz is a hybrid of a quartz movement with a mechanical module on top. The mechanical module controls the chronograph function, so you get a smooth sweeping second hand. The quartz portion does your daily time, so your hours and your minutes. You'll see all of these with the VK64 from Seiko are bicompax displays. On the left is your 60 minutes, and on the right side, the 3 o'clock position, is essentially a 24-hour repeater of what's being displayed on the main dial for the local time. One of the nice things about the quartz, battery is a 3-year lifetime, keeps very accurate time, few seconds a month, as opposed to 5 seconds or so per day for a mechanical watch. There's no winding associated with it because everything is powered off of that battery, the mechanical portion as well. So it's a nice compromise between cost, reliability, versatility, and it allows the watchmaker to spend a little bit more time, attention, effort, and money on making the external portions of the watch a little fancier, a little better, a little higher quality for the visual aspect. So the first watch we have today is the Furlan Mari. This is a Castagna. Okay, it is, as you said, a MecaQuartz. It's 38 millimeters in size. Take a look at that dial. It's absolutely beautiful. Taupe and brown, the deeper brown subdials. The caseback is smooth with no real engravings or anything on it. It does have quick change straps on board. If you take a look at that, it is just beautiful. Furlan Mari started in right about the year 2020, might have been a little bit before, a little bit after, and they started by a Kickstarter. They were able to take initial start and build it up into something that's making some very fine timepieces. They also have mechanical pieces that are available for about $3,000 and a little bit higher, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And they're doing collaborations with some noted designers and artisans from elsewhere in Europe. And one of the things that was really impressive is in their very first issue of watches, they were winners of the GPHG Award, the Oscars of Horology, for the Horological Revelation Prize. I think was a significant event for them and a great honor. Now let's get back to the watch itself. It is not an homage, okay, but it is very reminiscent to a vintage Patek Philippe model. The model reference number, I can't tell you. It's probably written down somewhere. It's trivia. You can look it up. But it is not an homage. It draws the inspiration from that watch. This particular one, like we said, is mostly polished. There are some brushed elements here on the casing. It has drilled lugs for ease of strap change. This particular watch, along the chapter ring to the outside, counts respirations. It was used by medical personnel back in the day to count how many breaths you were taking per minute. It has Breguet style indices at the 12 and the 6 position. The others are small applied little batons. Okay, very thin stick pointers for the hour and the minutes. And for the chronograph function, to turn that on, you can see that it moves in a mechanical manner as opposed to a quartz, be more of your jumping seconds. Quick reset for that one. It has Tasti-Tondi pushers, again reminiscent of that Patek Philippe, and this offers about 50 meters of water resistance. It is certainly not a dive watch or a field watch or anything like that. I have flown with this in the airplane, but it's not something that I'm going to do on a regular basis. Shard is based in Sweden. So there are two gentlemen who formed this company. They were classmates at the University of Malmo, decided they wanted to make some watches, and this is one of their offerings. Second offering that they have, here is the Celestia Classic, all right, in a brown dial. The pulsations I was able to get directly from Monchard. The Celestia here, I purchased locally from Regal Watches, and they were very kind and helpful to me for being able to get this watch. The pulsations was put together based on some parts that they had left over. And Andrea was very kind to source this for me and have it assembled, and I'm really happy to get it. Taking a look at this one, again, highly polished, fully polished stainless steel case, signed crown, similar pushers to what we had on the Ferlin Mari. This one here, rather than having respirations, is for a doctor to use for heartbeats, pulsations. You would count, look at the time, count 10 pulses of your heartbeat, and then could look and see what your current heart rate is. This one here also comes on a leather strap with quick change. And if you look on the back here, is a very nicely embossed company logo with some engraving in there, talking a little bit about the watch. And I think it is absolutely beautiful. Both of these keep very good time, and I've been very pleased so far with these items. For the Celestia, very similar in terms of layout. The dial itself is more of a guilloche center portion, with the chapter ring having Arabic numerals at 6 and 12, and then just dots, applied dots with the individual hour markers. Different style of pusher for the chronograph function, but again, functions exactly the same as the other two watches. Let's move on to the Seagull. So Seagull, a bit larger. This is a 41 millimeter case. Seagull is a Chinese company based in the northern part of China, formed in 1955. So this is their 70th anniversary. This is a reissue of a model that came from 1963, thus the name Seagull 1963 Limited Edition Moon Phase. Seagull was formed to start the Chinese watchmaking industry. They provided watches to the Chinese military for a long time, and they've been quite successful and are probably the most popular of the Chinese watch brands. Looking a little bit closer at this watch, it comes on a suede leather strap, polished stainless steel case, beautiful downturn lugs. This one is a little bit thicker than the other two, but that's okay. It comes on a domed sapphire crystal that gives it a little bit of distortion out at the edges, but that is a very attractive feature for me, as long as it's not a pilot watch. You can see the applied indices at the even numbers going around the dial with batons at the odd numbers. You can see the moon phase. Again, as with the other two watches, it is a bicompax. This is a hand-wound movement. It is a Seagull ST19 series, based upon an older ETA movement, but very reliable, nice workhorse. And if you look at the back, it is nicely decorated back here. It is a column wheel, and you see there parts mostly skeletonized, but again, it is a hand-wound movement. You do have a running seconds at the left and a 30-minute counter for the chronograph there on the right. So at the pusher, you can see the red second hand starts to move, and a very nice and easy reset with that. This is a 30-meter water resistance, I believe. So very similar to what we had with the other watches. It's a daily use watch, not a field watch or a pilot watch. I did fly with this once. I didn't have any issues with it, but I don't think it's something that I'd take in the jet an awful lot, primarily because they're going to get banged around quite a bit. Let's move on to the Hanhart. So Hanhart is the oldest of the companies that we have here today. Founded in 1882, in Black Forest. This is a 42 millimeter watch. Hanhart is, in my opinion, one of those quintessential German companies where they focus on quality, on engineering, on details, making sure everything is absolutely perfect over style. Not that it's a bad style in any respect whatsoever, but style is not their focus. Their focus is on quality engineering. So this is the 417 ES flyback in reverse panda. So we've got a matte black dial with linked indices all the way around in Arabic numerals. It has white syringe style hour and minute hands, running sub-seconds on the left-hand side, 30-minute hour timer on the right. It does have a friction bezel that you can move with a red indicator there at the top, which is really nice. As we said, this is a flyback. So push the reset button immediately brings that counter back to the 12 o'clock position, the null position, and restarts another interval. You can shut it off, reset it, and start back from the beginning. I'd love to fly with this watch. It's durable. It is comfortable. It is immediately legible by looking down. This comes on a deep chocolate brown strap with contrasting stitching. Very nice. Mechanical movement. It is hand wind, so there's no rotor there. It's not particularly decorated, but you do see some striping there on the 3/4 plate. And there's some nice finishing inside in terms of beveling some of the edges and taking some of the burrs and machining off. I'm very pleased with this watch. I also have a Handhort Pioneer, which is more of a field or a pilot watch specifically, and we'll talk about that likely in the next episode. So for those 4 or 5 chronographs, I'm very pleased with all of those. Additional information for the manufacturers and the companies are located in the links down below in the description portion of it. So please, if you're interested in these, look them up. There's pages there for the history of them, pricing, availability, all of that for the various watches. Now, taking a look at the Longines, I have 2 Longines Conquest chronographs. This one in gold with black subdials, sort of panda look to it. I also have one that is blue with blue subdials and a black ceramic bezel, just like this one. This is in 42 millimeters as well, brushed and polished stainless steel. It's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit heavier than the other watches. Again, it does have an automatic movement in the back. This is a Longines version of an ETA movement that has been customized just for Longines. They call it the L898.5 for the movement, but essentially it is an ETA movement, as ETA is part of the Swatch Group, as is Longines. This is a tri-compact dial with running sub-seconds at the 3 o'clock position, a 12-hour time counter at the 6 o'clock, and a 30-minute counter there at the 9 o'clock position. Very happy with this watch in general. It's a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but in general, it's a good high-quality watch. This is not a flyback. It is a 4 hertz chronograph. See, the chronograph function starts there. Reset. All looks good. The indices are all applied in diamond cut. There is a little bit of loom in many of them, particularly the 3, 6, 9, and 12 o'clock positions, as well as on the outer ring, just outboard of the indices along the chapter ring. It has a tachymeter scale along the bezel for timing distance and average speed over that distance. Those are the big topics that I wanted to address today. Of those watches, I love each and every one of them. I think they're fantastic. In terms of some honorable mentions, the Pittsman 3 chronograph from Seoul, Korea is outstanding. I'm still hoping to get one of those. I've got a Monroe Urban Adventure, again with the MecaQuartz, that is on order. I hope to get that here in the next week or so. Lovely with the burgundy dial. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And one other honorable mention to Venezianico. As you saw in my last video, big fan. The Bucentoro is a fantastic tri-compact chronograph, and I'm hoping to order that soon as well. I do have some shout outs below for some other YouTube channels that if you get a chance, please check them out. Shout out once again to the man, Marco from Swiss Watch Gang. He did an interview with the company principals of Selton from Hong Kong, and I immediately ordered one of their watches based on his recommendation. It's a guilloche mother of pearl dial, a dressy everyday watch, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm hoping to get that real soon. Thanks, Marco. Also to Shane at Relative Time. Love your content. I think you and I have very similar tastes and preferences in watches, and I really enjoy the things that you have to say. There's some others down below in the summary. Please, if you get a chance, take a look at some of those. Lastly, if you like to read, and I like to read, I read a lot. This book here, All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. An English author, story is based in the United States. this is a fantastic book, one of the best books I've read in probably 10 years or so. That includes Stephen King and lots of other fantastic authors. What I really like is it shows the humanity that is within each and every one of us, even in the face of extreme adversity. Loyalty, friendship, love, honesty. It's fantastic. If you're looking for a good book, give that one a shot. So in closing, thanks for joining me here today. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you got something out of it. Sorry for all my fumbling around. I'm still learning how to do this, and we'll get better as time goes on. I hope. Good news is, can't really get a whole lot worse. Look me up on Instagram. I've got photos of some of my watches there. I'm still trying to learn how to use that social media app, but it's coming along. I got a 17-year-old son who's trying to help me out with it, but his dad isn't particularly bright. All right. Take care. Be well. Have a good day. Cheers.